Hi, my name is Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. And this video is a focus on USA seed capital investors, and it is part of a video series that I will be having in the next few weeks on company profiles of over 570 seed capital investors in the USA. So if you're looking to do fundraising for the first time, this is a great resource for you. A bit of information about myself. I'm a fundraising strategist with 15 years of experience in high-end real estate sales and marketing, spanning Canada, Dubai, and the Caribbean. And over the past 2 years on Fiverr, I've assisted over 200 clients with startup fundraising, pitch deck refinement, investor outreach strategies, and custom investor databases. In addition, I'm an advisor to a New York-based investment company affiliated with a $60 billion fund. The fund focuses on various sectors, particularly income-producing real estate, with capital requirements for projects typically ranging from $10 to $20 million. These projects are selected based on their cash flow and growth potential, and you get more information about my service by clicking my Fiverr link below. This video highlights Morado Ventures in California, and they are one of 570 seed capital and angel groups in my exclusive fundraising database to help you raise capital for your startup. Company snapshot: they're based in Palo Alto, California, and are classified as an investment company and a venture capital firm. Their key sectors include technology, artificial intelligence, and big data. Distinct benefit for startups: they're suitable for early stage tech startups seeking funding and strategic support. Company focus, investor approach, and strategy. Morado Ventures, headquartered in Palo Alto, California, distinguishes itself as a dedicated venture fund specializing in seed stage investments. The firm is guided by a strong belief in the potential of passionate entrepreneurs equipped with unique expertise. Morado Ventures actively seeks out individuals addressing intricate technological challenges through innovative software and hardware solutions. While the current focus areas encompass artificial intelligence, data infrastructure, industrial internet, robotics and autonomy, computer vision, and health, Morado Ventures maintains an unwavering appetite for innovation, always on the lookout for the next transformative category. Their investment focus. Morado Ventures' mission centers on supporting and nurturing early-stage data-fueled companies poised to address significant challenges in industries ready for disruption. With a wealth of expertise leading and investing in technology companies, Morado Ventures meticulously selects founders aligned with its investment philosophy. The firm actively collaborates with these promising entrepreneurs, leveraging its expertise to help develop and execute winning strategies. Team expertise. Morado Ventures stands out for its commitment to driving meaningful impact in the technology landscape. By partnering with Morado Ventures, entrepreneurs gain access to a network of seasoned professionals deeply versed in the intricacies of the technology sector. And here are some of their previous investments. One of the key benefits of my database is that it includes tips for investor outreach. This is what makes it unique. There is no other database like this. And I specifically created this database for first-time fundraising. So you're going to see the spreadsheet coming up a little bit later. It's going to have key touch points for all 570 firms, and these are just to be used as a guide. They're not carved in stone, but they're made to get you to think a little bit more about how you're going to send a message to different groups, whether it's a direct contact at known or if you're sending it to an unknown, such as an info at contact. Because the key thing is you should actually start to initiate outreach well before you need the funds. Typical fundraising campaign for a seed capital could be anywhere from 6 to 9 months, and even longer in some cases. But usually the 6 to 9 months is a really good guideline. And that's for people who are successful at fundraising. If you're going to be unsuccessful, generally that's why it takes longer. But if you use that 6 to 9 months and think about what really happens during that, that's when you're actually doing the research and sourcing for contacts and going through all that process, and that's what really drags on your time. Now, if you were to start to engage in outreach before you need the funds, let's say a few months after you've started your company, after you've hit a couple of milestones or just landed a big account or had some traction that is noteworthy to a potential venture capital firm. Remember, you're not asking for funds. You're not sending a pitch deck. This is just to introduce yourself, introduce your company, let them know that you're in the same sector that they've previously invested in, and get a bit of contact to see whether there can be a communication on how you can help align your company with what they look at. And they really will appreciate that. So how would you do this? Well, in this case, if you know the contact, and my database is full of contacts, but it also has info at and admin addresses, and we'll get to that in the next part. But if you know who the contact is, a key outreach touch points in this case could be Morado Ventures has demonstrated a focus on investing in innovative startups. We are excited to engage in a conversation about how our new venture aligns with your investment thesis. In other words, you're going to have about 3 sentences in this note. One would be just an introduction. The second one might be this copy here. And then the third one might be, please let us know who would be a good contact to touch base with. And you send that to them, and it's going to be great because they're going to know it's not a spam. The average venture capital and angel group company gets 50 to 100 pitch decks a day. Yes, that's a 50 to 100 a day. So by going at them with this type of approach, again, well before you need the funds, is a really, really good approach. Now, if you don't know who the contact is, and in some cases you go to the website, and I've provided all the websites for all 570 firms here, sometimes go to the website and you're going to see either an info at, admin at, or you might just see a contact form where you have to put your details into it, or you might see a list of key contacts. But generally, they're going to have their LinkedIn addresses. Now, you may be familiar with communicating on LinkedIn and comfortable with doing it, but if your LinkedIn profile is not 100% professional, you may want to hold back on that and just use your company website or whatever. The key thing that's going to sell your product or your service to this group. So how would you do that then? So in this case, you would put in the subject heading, exploring opportunities with Morado Ventures, and your key initial email approach line may include, our startup aligns with Morado Ventures' vision. Can you connect us with the right contact to discuss potential seed capital funding opportunities with Morado Ventures? So whoever receives that is now not going to know that it's been crafted professionally, and again, you're not sending a pitch deck, you're not talking about how great your firm is and how much money you need for to take it from A to B. You're just saying, listen, I'm reaching out, we want to make a connection. So if this goes to info at or admin at, those are almost always going to be opened by the front line of the company. And again, it could be a secretary, it could be an admin manager, and in some cases it might be the HR manager, depending on the structure of the company, or all. So what's that person going to do? Well, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to either take your email and reply to you and say, you should contact so-and-so, here's their title and here's their email, or they're going to forward your note to whoever should receive it. And almost always it's going to be somebody in an intermediate level. It could be an associate, it could be an investment advisor, it might be a director. And that's perfect because it's not going to go to CEO or chairman or founders. So keep that in mind. And you don't want it to anyway. This is just an email that connects you with somebody. You want a human being on the end of that email where you can say, hi, I'm glad we connected. We want to. They want to build up. You want to build up a history of contact with venture capital firms and angel groups over the growth of your company. So let's say, for example, you contact 2 of these companies per week for 9 months. You're going to have about 100 firm contacts, and you want 100 contacts of people who have contacted you back. If someone doesn't contact you on the first email, no problem. There's always a follow-up, and I've got a guide to help you on that. You can see it in my Fiverr profile. But what you want to end up with is around 100 live contacts, and you should try to get a couple on each firm, by the way, because people change in these firms over time. You want to have a backup just in case. Now, By doing this, this prepares you for the most efficient fundraising campaign when the time is right. Because the best strategy for you to prepare for your most important part of the fundraising is to have all these contacts, and then when you're ready to start to raise funds, that's when you send your pitch deck and when you send a longer form email. And that's really going to help you out, especially if you're fundraising for the first time. This is the type of seed capital angel group you can find in my exclusive guide. I created this exclusive database to help founders reach out to seed and angel investors with confidence. There is no other resource like it, period. So let's take a look at the database. So now we're over on the database section. So this is the seed capital and angel group investor database. And as you can see on the top here, it has 570 contacts. And total investments for this group is over 37,000 in the past few years. This is the best source of seed capital that you're going to find, and this was handpicked from me from my database of over 400,000 contacts. So this is not a database that you can scrape off the internet because they have all been verified. These are all companies that deal in seed capital. So you can be sure that if that is the type of funds that you're looking for, this is the great source for you, not only in the very beginning of your company stages, but as you move along the line. The purpose of this database is to actually use as a contact for when you first get your company ready and rolling, and you can say to them, I am a founder in the tech space or whatever space you're in, and you want to make initial contacts in the very beginning. So that's the beauty of this type of list. If you're thinking about fundraising, you should not think about sending out your outreach emails when you're looking for the funds. You should be thinking about that 1-2 years beforehand, where you start to make contacts with these key groups, because that's the best way for you to build at least a connection with not only the one member, could be multiple members of the team. And keep in mind that the people in the teams will always change over time unless they're the founders and the principals. So let's just take a quick look at this here. So you're going to get the company names, you're going to get the cities, and again, this is a USA list. These are all either venture capital or angel groups. And there could be some family investment offices, but they're really focused on micro venture capital, and angel groups, because those are the ones that look at allocating funds for startups, and you can usually look at anywhere from around $100,000 to around $500,000, sometimes up to $1 million for these type of groups. And that's why they have been collected in this particular database, because it doesn't make sense for you to start to look at databases that have growth capital. In other words, firms that are looking to finance you in your third or fourth raise, or databases that have private equity that aren't going to lend to a startup. So that's why I've spent over 150 hours minimum working on this database. In fact, I've been working on this database for a few years, but it was just finally some interest in clients where to connect both angel groups and venture capital groups that are seed capital. What's an angel group? Very simple. If you're looking to approach angel investors, the easiest way is to actually do it by contacting angel groups. An angel group is a firm that is founded and has sometimes 50, 100, 200, maybe even more individual angel investors as part of that group. And what it does, it helps them organize potential investment opportunities that come across their desk, so that they can present it to the group as a whole or to individuals that may be in that group. So in other words, this particular database has thousands and thousands and thousands of individual angel investors, but you do not have to contact them one by one. You can do that by simply going into the groups that are composed of angel investors. This database is also very unique because in some cases I've already identified key contacts for you. Now the reason I have not done this for all the contacts is very simple. Throughout the life of your group and even through your contacts when you're doing your fundraising, you're going to approach different people. For example, if it's a principal or a founder, those are great contacts if you're ready to start raising funds. But if you're just starting out your group, you may want to look at approaching associates or whoever might be that first contact, and that helps you build your contact within that group up as your company grows. And it's really, really important, because then you never have to be in a scenario where you're looking at firms that only are looking at warm introductions. Most of these, and in fact, over 95% of them, you do not need to have a previous contact with someone. So what have I done to include? And another key thing is they all are either going to have their company emails, in other words, info at, contact at, or you will submit your information on a forum on their website. It's very common for venture capital and angel groups, instead of having an email address, to have a forum where you'll submit your information. You do not have to submit your pitch deck. In fact, in the very beginning of your approach to companies, I would suggest you not using a pitch deck. You could use bullet points or an executive summary, but leave the pitch deck for when you're looking to start to raise funds. So what makes this database unique is I've included the key outreach touch points. In other words, if you have a direct contact that you've known, then there's some key words here that you can use in your particular letter. And that really kind of helps you get started. In other words, I'm not writing the letters for you. I do have that service on Fiverr if you're interested. But for example, this one here says, Helios Capital is recognized for its strategic investments in diverse sectors. Let's discuss the potential synergies between our new venture and your investment approach. So that's a good line to put in as what I would call a second sentence in your letter. So I've done that for all 570. I've added some key points about their group so that you actually make it look like it's customized. You should not spam these type of venture capital and angel groups with your message, because it won't work. They get hundreds and hundreds of emails a day, and yes, that means hundreds and hundreds of potential people who are looking to raise funds, and it's best that you go in with an approach where it's customized. So that's really, really important, and that's why I've devised this database. There is no other database like this on the market, no one else, and there's many firms and high profile companies that allow you access to databases. In other words, you've got to pay a subscription. You might be allowed to contact 100 firms in a month. This is more refined. In other words, I've done the heavy lifting for you. I've devoted the hours so that you don't have to do it. So the second part of this is, because you are going to use this database in the very beginning and early days, you're going to want to be able to contact somebody in the very early stages, and you may not know them. The reason you may not know them is because in some cases venture capital firms will list their employees and their LinkedIn addresses. Okay, so that's really key, but in some cases you won't. So I actually suggest, and I've already done the work for you, is that you send them a letter seeking information on who might be a good contact. For example, this one here, the subject is inquiry regarding investment opportunities, seeking the right contact. So that will be the body of your email. And then I have added what's called the second sentence, and it says, as we explore potential investment avenues, we believe our venture aligns with Pipeline Ventures investment criteria. Could you assist us in identifying the appropriate contact for further discussions? Now, the reason I've put that type of strategy in here is, if you send this to info at, or if you send this to admin, they're going to pass it. They're going to do two things. They're going to probably pass it on to the appropriate party, or they're going to send you back a polite message saying, yes, you can contact so-and-so with your opportunity. They'll do that because that's their job. That's what they're there for. I've really made that clear. I have other investor databases. For example, I just created one for the Middle East where I have almost all the HR contacts. So in that way, an HR contact is never going to delete an email like that, because that's not their job. Their job is to facilitate these type of introductions and making sure they get to the right person. So the beauty of this is, if it's a venture capital or angel group firm, let's say they've got a founder, a couple principals, they may have 3 or 4 associates or people who analyze investments. That's who this particular contact is going to be made with. And it's great because that's who you want your initial contact with. You want to be able to make that initial contact with somebody at a lower level, introducing yourself, and maybe arranging a meeting or a Zoom call to see how you can align your company with them for when it comes down to the point where you're going to do fundraising. People should think about that when they're doing their fundraising, is treat it like a business development exercise. So that is the database of venture capital, seed venture capital, and angel groups in the USA for the initial stages of your fundraising. My master database has over 400,000 verified global contacts. That includes angel investors, family investment offices, pension funds, hedge funds, private equity databases, REITs, premium high net worth and ultra high net worth Middle East investors database, venture capital lists and investment banks. I also help clients with pitch deck reviews and corporate fundraising presentations. If you're getting ready to send your presentation out to investors, send it to me. I will take a look at it. Approximately 80% of the presentations I see are not suitable to be sent out to investors. I have a service on Fiverr that will help fix that. Just click my Fiverr link below for more information. For more information on my databases and fundraising services, click my Fiverr link below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.